has been given to senior BJP leader Eshwarappa. A big relief there for the BJP leader and former minister K.S. Eshwarappa, who was accused in a case of a suicide by a contractor, Santosh. In fact, the Udupi police had filed a report at the Public Representative Court. He's been given a clean chit due to lack of evidence, is what we understand at this moment. Let me go across to Shrija for more details on this. Shrija, this will come as a huge relief, not just to K.S. Eshwarappa, but also to the party, because it came as a huge embarrassment that he was named in that FIR.
Well, that was one of the primary reasons why we understand the opposition parties took to the streets. The family members, of course, demanded that K.S. Eshwarappa must step down, and he did so. But, at the same time, we did go on to see how BJP was labeled as a 40% government. Remember, these allegations did not just come in from the victim's suicide note, which was shared on the WhatsApp as a message, but it was also, in fact, spoken about in terms of 40% commission, which is demanded by the BJP government, even by Sears as well, Sears and various contractors associations. So clearly, when you have such allegations which is being made by multiple associations and multiple individuals, there could be some truth to it. But however, we understand that investigation into those allegations have definitely not been done in terms of the BJP government. Instead, we look at a situation where he's been, especially K.S. Eshwarappa, who was the then RDPR, Rural Panchayat Minister. He's been given a clean chit. It's a big relief for K.S. Eshwarappa as well as for the BJP government at the moment, because just ahead of the elections, just 1 year to elections, we saw several allegations with regard to corruption that's being leveled against the BJP government. So at a time when several allegations are being leveled against the BJP government as well as the Bommai government, we look at where the police have filed a B report in connection with this contractor Santosh suicide case, and Udupi police have filed this report at Public Representative Court, and clearly we see due to lack of evidence is what they have cited. Due to lack of evidence against K.S. Eshwarappa, they have given him a clean chit.
Also, Shrija, help us understand the community dynamics here as well, because I understand the victim belonged to the influential Lingayat community, and therefore there was pressure from the community as well that they will, if K.S. Eshwarappa does not step down, they will launch a stir. Now that he's been given a clean chit, are we looking at some sort of resentment from the family that could be expressed by way of any protest by the community at large?
Well, of course, that we have to wait and see at the moment, but we do see a resentment coming in from the family members itself. Because if you clearly remember, just a few months ago, those such allegations were mentioned in that particular suicide note itself. We understand the government had not taken such allegations very seriously. Only after the protest broke out and several of the family members, of course, said that they were not planning to bury the body of, the victim. Only then we understand Eshwarappa, K.S. Eshwarappa, after much quoting the controversy, days later he tendered his resignation. Now, what really happens next is something that we have to see. But of course, when we spoke to the family members, we hear there is a clear resentment that is coming in from his family members. What's important to also note that is, especially in June, we saw a very fresh development. This is in the allegations by the contractors against the state government that they have to pay 40% commission to get project sanctioned. In fact, the Union Ministry itself of Home Affairs had sought documents from the Karnataka Contractors Association. So when you already had the Union Ministry looking into this kind of an issue, at the same time you have here where we understand a B report has been filed by giving him a clean chit, K.S. Eshwarappa, former minister, BJP leader, by saying that there is lack of evidence.
Shrija, I want to take that point of lack of evidence. You are suggesting that his name was mentioned in the suicide note. Now, that I understand is a very potent evidence, isn't it? Why is the police in this case saying that there is lack of evidence?
Well, that itself was a primary, evidence, in fact, to consider against K.S. Eshwarappa. But somehow, For reasons unknown, they are quoting that there is lack of evidence. We also see a case of, an FIR was registered against KS Eshwarappa for abetment of suicide in connection with the death of the civil contractor. Now, despite all of that, they had found this particular suspected suicide note also, where it did go on to talk in that particular complaint. Mr. Prashant was very clear, where he contended his brother, saying that he had undertaken work, that is, Santosh had invested his money in the project, at least about 4 crore rupees in Hindalgarh village, and the bill for the work was pending. But after, when KS Eshwarappa was questioned about the same, KS Eshwarappa went on to say that this particular project was not in any of the records. That means it was just, as far as several of the contractors are concerned, they have agreed to the fact, even when NDTV did question and speak to quite a few contractors, how exactly these, the projects do work, especially when it involves ministers. They went on to tell us that several of the ministers and also several of the administrators themselves just give a work order orally. And after, once the work is complete, we understand in terms of whether it is commission or even for that matter, the project sanction is done only after the work is complete. And this time around, it was no different, because even this particular victim that we're talking about, Mr. Santosh Patil, he did go on to take this particular project orally from KS Eshwarappa. And that is one lack of evidence that we see at this point in time, which is given KS Eshwarappa a clean sheet.
All right, Shrija, many thanks for getting us all those details.